then Marko may start, and then I'll take over after him.
Okay, so we are all here, are we?
Fundo is here, so that's good. Yeah, I think we are good.
Thank you. Okay, so I will use this opportunity to make a presentation of the entrepreneurship competence framework as seen by the EU and EU educational authorities. What's wrong with this? Sorry. So here in the EU, there has been a lot of discussions about entrepreneurship and how to compete with fast-growing countries like China, like Southeast Asia, like Central America, and so on. And the authorities came to the conclusion that we need to develop knowledge-based economy, competitive economy that will be able to compete with other countries. Thank you, Anja. So we realized that we need to improve our human resources and that we need to start from the scratch, from building key competencies through all education and learning activities in a lifelong cycle. And in 2006, the EU came up with 8 key competencies needed for knowledge-based economy, including entrepreneurship, or a sense of initiative and entrepreneurship as a key competence. The competence which is expected that everyone developed through the life cycle, through education, training, formal education, non-formal, informal learning, and in any available way. So with entrepreneurship, the EU in 2016 came up with initiative to develop entrepreneurship competence framework as a framework for educational and training institutions, how to promote entrepreneurship as a key competence and how to mainstream entrepreneurship as a key competence through their educational and training programs. So with the competence framework, the EU wants to basically set a clear framework. What the entrepreneurship competence consists of, what kind of knowledge, what kind of skills, and what kind of attitudes are building entrepreneurial competence of a person. Which should be also guidelines for educational and training institutions, how to align the programs and learning activities with this framework, which would at the end lead to better entrepreneurial education, better entrepreneurial programs, and more opportunities for learners to grasp or encounter or trigger entrepreneurial competence through education and training. So with the framework, what the entrepreneurship is in our education and training systems, as you may see, it is very, very broad framework. What should this competence refer to? At first place, it is considered to be a transversal competence, the competence which is not related to any particular industry or any particular training program or educational program, but it applies to all spheres of life. From nurturing personal development to actively participating in society, retraining the job markets as an employee, re-entering the job markets as an employee or as a self-employed person, and also to starting up ventures, including cultural, social, or commercial ones. So in the eyes of entrecomp framework, entrepreneurship is not only commercial activity or commercial or activity leading to creating financial or material value, but it is also social activity leading to personal growth, identifying opportunities in the society to create new cultural added value, environmental protection added value, or social added value, or at the end, also commercial or financial or material added value. So it also encompasses different kinds of entrepreneurship, like digital entrepreneurship, social entrepreneurship, green entrepreneurship, and all other kinds of entrepreneurship. So about the framework, you may find it, of course, at the internet. For the EU, or in the eyes of EU educational and training authorities, the entrepreneurship competence is built of 15 competencies, 3 building blocks, each of them consisting of 5 competencies. So these 3 building blocks are 3 sets of complementary competencies necessary to develop the entrepreneurship competence. First building block is about ideas and opportunities, or about our capacity and our talent to spot the opportunities, to understand where opportunities lay around us, even in those areas or in those angles where no one else would see opportunity. And of course, to visualize the ideas around these opportunities and how to exploit the opportunity to develop a new value. Then the second block of 5 competencies would be about resources. So we start with ideas and opportunities. We start with the talent or capacity to spot the opportunities. And then we continue with resources, with engaging the resources in order to exploit the opportunities and use the chance that we have recognized. And then at the end, when we spotted the opportunities, when we demonstrated the talent and capacity to engage the resources to use those opportunities, then there is another block of competencies needed to make idea to achieve this transformation from idea to action, which is called to action competencies. The competencies that allow us to initiate the process, to make a first move, to understand the risk and tackle the risk, and take chance. So altogether, we have 15 competencies, which I will come to in the next slide. And there are also within the framework, which is less important, but just to mention, there are 8 progression models from the basic level of grasping or encountering each of those 15 entrepreneurship competencies to the professional level or proficiency level, where we can say that we are masters in demonstrating each of those competencies. And of course, there are 442 learning outcomes, which is the least important. I think I've never looked into these learning outcomes. because for me it is important to understand the framework, to understand the competencies and the way how you may progress, especially when designing the educational program or training. So when we come to the framework and to 15 competencies, building the entrepreneurship competence, there are 3 sets of 5 competencies. They include the basic ones, ideas and opportunities. They include spotting the opportunities. So our ability to understand that, to identify the opportunity around us in the real space or in discussions or in reading the data or in any other way. Then creativity, vision, valuing ideas, ethical and sustainable thinking, which is very often neglected today when we think about entrepreneurship. Then the next set of competencies would include resources, the following resources: self-awareness and self-efficacy, motivation and perseverance, mobilizing resources, financial and economic literacy, mobilizing others, and with these 5 competencies, we would be more capacitated to grasp and exploit the spotted opportunities than without these competencies. And then finally, the last set, into action, taking the initiative, planning and management, coping with ambiguity, uncertainty, and risk, working with others, and learning through experience. So these are 15 competencies, building 15 skills and competencies, building entrepreneurship competence as a key competence. So what we tend to do when developing training programs, educational programs, and similar, we tend to integrate these competencies to any possible extent to our program by aligning different learning activities with these competencies and with learning outcomes. How do we do that? There is a toolkit which I will share with you. There is a toolkit which was developed like 2 years ago by our team. How to integrate entrecomp competencies into learning and training activities. And at the end, what we also came up with is a ValueComp tool for validation of entrepreneurship competencies. We have developed this tool how to assess the student or learner's experience with our educational program and to assess to what extent have they encountered or experienced each of these competencies, which entrepreneurship competencies, which were included in our program. And this is a kind of self-assessment and self-awareness tool, so that one understands that they learned about entrepreneurship competence, so to have this information in their awareness. This is how the tool looks like. So there is a electronic form available on through QR code, so they can complete the form on their phone, and the form is very basically very plain. It has only 3 questions. The form refers to a certain learning activity in which a certain entrepreneurship competence has been integrated, and then we have this certificate supplement, which may be a separate document or may be integrated in a certificate, a regular certificate, where we want to draw attention or to designate that this particular entrepreneurship competence or group of entrepreneurship competencies were addressed or experienced through this educational or training program. Yeah. So colleagues, if you have any question, feel free to raise it up.
Thanks, Matt.
Matt, please.
So Marko, with your with the QR code, would it be simple to do something like that for the virtual exchange?
In terms, how do you mean that? Is it possible? Of course, it is possible. Do you mean, is it possible that we process this number of responses?
Yeah, because something I've been thinking about is, if somebody goes through it and we've got to say, for example, okay, Marko went in as a delegate. The change we've seen in Marko is what? How do we measure that change? Because it's difficult to measure change in someone unless someone's going to do an exam, or even an exam you could have just crammed for an exam.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you've changed, but I think we need to think, if a delegate comes in, how do we have a system in place, one, to register their attendance, but also to say how do we know there's been change in Marko? And your tool that you use there looks like it does something like that. If my question's making sense at all.
Yes, it does. It does, Matt. We discussed a lot about this when developing the Valicomp and what the assessment professionals. This was developed with, first of all, to say that this was developed with two institutes for secondary education in Montenegro and Bosnia, and with their professional staff for the professionals for assessment, for assessment systems and so on. So the argument, which was at the end accepted, is that students like to be that their endeavor is recognized, to get any kind of public or formal recognition. So at the end, our position was not to assess the change, but to just to make recognition that they have experienced certain entrepreneurship competence. And this is why we don't measure here the progression level, because we find it least important. We find more important that students take part in any learning activity which also has this added value with experiencing certain entrepreneurship competence, and also to be informed and to be made aware about this particular entrepreneurship competence. One is when you just read spotting the opportunities, and the other experience is when someone explains you what does it mean. What does it mean for entrepreneurship and making added value to be able to spot the opportunity? And this is what we wanted to achieve with this recognition tool, with Valicomp, just to make recognition to students so that they self-reflect through the form, through those 3 questions, that they self-reflect what have they learned and what kind of entrepreneurship experience have they encountered through this particular learning activity. that they just shortly think about it, and then at the end to submit the form and to receive this recognition in the form of certificate, supplement, or part of their certificate, or any other suitable way. So the idea is just to point out, yes, this was entrepreneurship experience, and reflect on that. So however you understand it and however you experience it. Idna? Yeah, sorry, Matt. Did I provide some understanding?
100%. Yes. Yes, thank you, Marko. Appreciate it. Thank you, mate.
Okay, Marko, thank you for the presentation. It's really nice and informative. My comment is on Matthew's suggestion. I mean, the question, I understood it as it could be used as a way of measuring the trainees' understanding. So we can use it as an impact for the project by having baseline before they got into the program, and then after the training we can measure it as a way of checking the impact of the project. So that is just over my top of my mind. I believe it could be used as a impact measurement for the project, for the entire project, because it is a competency measurement tool as a tool. The same kind of activity is done in one of the EDI's training. They call them PECs, personal entrepreneurship competencies. I'm not sure they are different or the same. There is a training program in the Ethiopian Entrepreneurship Development Institute measuring the trainers' performance against these 15 entrepreneurial competencies, whether they have exercised in the 6-day training on the spot. This is not online training, it's just a physical face-to-face training, and they write it whether they have exercised that competencies in that classroom. So they are allowed to start their own business within the training so that they can sell it to the trainers in that 6-day, and they are going to be competing against these specs. There are trainers who actually measures whether they have already showed that competency in that training session. So it's really nice, and I just want to share this also. If we have a way of integrating this so that they can learn, they have already exercised the competencies within the training session online. So a way of for example, if they say from the resource category, if they got interacted, they got communicated, or they have networked, something like that, that is also a competency. So they can write that or put it somewhere in the platform, in our platform, for them to see they have actually exercised it, changed it, and yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. For us, Idna, it is for us the goal is to integrate, to align the program with these competencies, with these frameworks, and to integrate in a possible extent these 15 competencies, maybe not all, but some of them, into our training program. So, for example, with this particular e-internship that we are discussing here as a draft, we have several activities that for sure, to a very high extent, contributes to encountering and experiencing entrepreneurship competence, like, for example, company simulation, then activity that will be facilitated by Matt through his software and his platform, and other activities. But this is just a framework when we think about which we should consider when we think about our sessions. For example, Webit is developing module 3. When we think about our lectures, our learning activities, to see where is the space to integrate any of these competencies in our activities that student may benefit from, also experiencing or building entrepreneurship competence through these existing learning activities. Yeah, Anja, please. Yeah, are you muted, Anja?
Thank you very much, Marko. I also think it is very helpful if you follow a framework like this, because it focuses your designing of your module. You're not just like using something that you have because it's there, but you actually think about, okay, why am I using it and what am I trying to achieve with this? And if you put training modules like on a platform like Moodle, you can actually, at the end of each set that you write or that you set up, you can assign a competence that is being developed through this part. So there you could actually very, very intentionally say, okay, this session, this material or this quiz is going to develop a competency in ABC. So there you can actually control that you have all that you want to achieve in your training program. That would be very helpful. So if we start now designing our sessions, we should keep these competences in mind to see that we have them. And like in the framework that I shared earlier, there is also at the end, they can only download their certificate once they have filled the evaluation sheet. So there we can also ask them certain questions like, how do you feel about that kind of development? What was the most important part? How do you feel about the steps that you've taken, and so on? So that we can also ask them questions in the evaluation at the end about their progress. And another thing that I foresee is that we encourage them to keep a diary or a notebook for their learning journey kind of thing, where we prompt them with questions that they could think about during the week, where they can also document kind of their thought process and the changes in their thinking and the discoveries that they made during the journey. So I think there is several ways where we can track this and also enforce it.
Yeah. Thank you, Anja. I agree. And for example, where I find myself this framework very useful is the fact that it reminds us of some parts of entrepreneurship competence, which is very important, but we in our daily routine we just neglect it. And especially when we design the programs, of course, we will all focus on, for example, creativity, and that's the easiest way how to develop a learning activity and a play for learners or task for a group work and so on. But for example, what we do here, what I personally try to integrate into many of my educational activities is the competence of ethical and sustainable thinking, which is today very important, especially in this contemporary social and economic landscape that we are experiencing in our countries and globally. I think that this competence is very neglected and is very, very necessary to be reconsidered and reaffirmed in our relations, especially in business relations and in social relations and so on. So there are. We live in a time where you can find many good examples for discussions, for reflections about this ethical and sustainable thinking in entrepreneurship, from COVID and business opportunities in COVID, and ethical challenges in COVID time business opportunities, to all other opportunities to have very good discussions and very good reflections of learners and between the learners about ethics and sustainability in what we do, either for money and for value, or for social and cultural value and gain that we want to achieve.
Yeah,
So
also
terms,
like because our program is 100% virtual, all online, there's also this how do I behave in virtual environments? You see, you can lie, you can hide your personality, you can you can put
you can
pressure on
manipulate.
people. You
You
see,
can also
there's so much
manipulate, yeah.
unethical behavior in the online environment currently happening. So also like to stress those, if we work together online, how do we make sure we protect ourselves, we protect others, we are fair, we're transparent, and all of these kind of questions that also should be addressed. Yes. Well, Marko, if you unshare, then I can start sharing mine, unless we want to
Thank you.
continue with this
So I will
debate.
make sure that by Monday we have on VB Moodle on the platform that we have these materials available so that we can consult them, and while developing our training sessions, maybe consider any of these competencies to be present. Thank you. Thank you. I'm done, Anja.
Okay. Let me just go. Let me see. I'm still seeing your presentation though.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. How? This is weird.
We are seeing your screen, Anja.
You're seeing this now? Like, do you see
Yeah,
the AgriMox
yeah, it's
capacity building workshop?
yeah, it is for.
Okay, all right. Okay. I don't know how much time we have because this actually takes a lot of time, but we can also come back to this later. I would like to just quickly pick up on what Marko has said, that we need to learn competences. And if you do you now see this triangle with the different ways of learning? The power of experiential learning. Is that what you see?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So as you can see, if you only read something that you want to learn, you remember afterwards, you remember only 10% of what you read. And one of the easiest way to make an online course would just be to upload PDFs, like training materials that we already have. We just upload them and people read them. And then we think we have given them a lecture. But the big danger here is that they will only remember 10% of that. And then if you go down, we could have audios, could have podcasts or something. People remember about 20% of that. Then we have images. So in an online course, we can also upload pictures. It's also a little bit better, but not great yet. Then we can include videos. And we can make our own videos, we can make animated videos, we can make training videos, or we can actually also link YouTube videos or any other source videos. That is already a little bit better in terms of what students retain from that. Then we have exhibitions. That's something that people attend. They go, they look at it, they walk around. So you have more than just one way of engaging with the material. And I hope, like when we go to our competition, that will be kind of an exhibition setting. Watch a demonstration. That is now where we could start seeing some impact maybe from the entrepreneurs. Then we come down to where now people start really learn and retain the knowledge. This is hands-on, so where they have to do something themselves, where they have to collaboratively design a lesson. So actually the student becomes the teacher to his peers. Simulation, so this is where Matt comes in. And then design, perform a presentation experiment. So that would be the accumulation of this whole e-program that we're doing, that in the end they do their own pitch. That is hopefully where they have learned the most. So how can we now turn teaching materials that we already have, from face-to-face trainings, from PDFs that we have, from handbooks that we have, how can we turn that into good virtual training materials? We have different lecture tools from h5p. So in the last session, Tembeni asked, what is h5p? So h5p is a tool to create learning bits and pieces that can be set up on a learning platform, like on Moodle, for example. Maybe you have seen some of these and you have always wondered, how did they do this? How does that happen? So in h5p, you have different options. You have lecture tools, which I have presented a few here. There's very simple ones like the accordion. The accordion is just like a list where you see the headlines. And then once you click on the headline, it opens up and you can have more text there. You can create pages. So you have a structured lesson where you have text, where you have images, and you have another piece of text. So once the student goes through it, the student just scrolls down and has kind of a structured kind of reading. But this is still all just reading. Maybe an image in between, but it's still very much like there is something I present, you engage or you don't engage, and there isn't much interactivity here. Then we can make an image slider. An image slider is basically the same as a PPT presentation. You have slides where you can put a picture, and then the student can scroll through the slides and see one picture after the other. And on the picture, you can have also some text, some keywords, or whatever you want. But that would basically be scrolling through a PPT presentation. It's still very non-interactive. You can have information walls. So you have bits of pieces of information that you set up in a box, and then the student can use keywords to search for certain information. That is more like basically like a wiki or like a glossary. So if the student wants to find some part of information, this is a searchable way of presenting information. Oh, sorry, let me go back. Now we're coming to the more interactive tools. One of the that I've been using in the past a lot is the interactive book. So the interactive book is basically like a real book. It has a cover page, and the student starts clicking on it to open it, and then the student can go through the different chapters, to the different pages in the chapters. And in the pages, in the chapters, you can have film, you can have images, you can have tables, you can have quizzes. So inside the book now, you can create a lot of interactivity. You can still present text, but you can also add more interactive bits and pieces. The same you can do with course presentation down here, where you don't have the format of a book, but you have the format of a PowerPoint, like the image slider, but it is more interactive. So in this course presentation now, you can have quizzes, you can have movies, you can have all that you have in an interactive book. You can also have in a course presentation, but the way of presenting it is more like a PowerPoint, less like a book. Then you have stuff like interactive video. So you can create a video, you can use any video, and you can add points to this video where the video stops. And now the student has to do something at this point, and you decide what it is. You can ask a question. There could be like a quiz there. There could be a little drag and drop activity. There could be a question like, have you understood what you've learned so far? If the student says no, then you take them back to a certain earlier point in the video and they have to repeat. If they say yes, they can continue. So there's a lot of different interactive options you can put into a video to break up the video into shorter pieces and engage with the student about the content of the video, which makes it a lot more interactive and also helps to review what happened in the video. There's another one where you can have image hotspots that can be used in different ways. So you could have an image and you can point out things that are maybe wrong or difficult or a problem, or you could also just put information there. So on the image, you put different boxes that they can click on, and there's text that comes with this image hotspot. We can look at examples in a bit, but that makes it already a lot more active because there is the image plus the text. So it combines two parts of learning, and then it's interactive because the student now actively has to choose what they want to engage with. One that is a lot more demanding is the branching scenario. This is used a lot in on-the-job trainings where people can make decisions. So you set a scenario, maybe you have a small video or you write a small text of that is the situation. And then you give the participants choices. Now I do this, or now I do that, or now I ask this question. They can choose what kind of the scenario they would actually choose in this situation. And then you can give them feedback on this is not good because this leads to this problem, or this is the right choice, and so on. Or from their choices, they can even go further and make more decisions. So this is a lot for on-the-job training. It's very demanding for the trainer to set up. You have to have a lot of material ready, and you have to have a good design in mind already. Then we have revision tools. So these are like little game card things. You have dialogue cards, for example, where you have cards where you have maybe a question on the front and the answer on the back. And the student can just look at the card, think of the answer, then turn the card and see if it's right. It's very similar to the flashcard one. You can have drag and drop cards where you have an image, and on the image you create drag and drop boxes, and then you have, for example, words, and they need to identify which word goes into which of the boxes, and they need to drag it there. You have drag the words, so you have a text and you have blank spaces in the sentences, and then they need to, from the choice of words that is at the bottom, they have now to drag the right words into the blank spaces of text. So this is the same as the drag and drop, but not with an image, but with a text. Then you have the essay tool. So you give them an essay task and you set a number of keywords that you expect to come up in the essay that they write. And then the tool, so once they start writing their essay, it can be 100 words, 500 words, whatever. The tool counts how often they have actually used the keywords that you were expecting. So they can pass or fail an essay by the number of keywords that they have hit. Fill in the blanks is an interesting tool, but it's also a little dangerous. You would have, like with the drag the words, you have a text with blank spaces. And now the student would not have choice of words that they have to drag in the blanks, but they would actually have to type the word in the blanks. And that is a bit difficult because maybe they have the right solution, but they choose a word that you didn't think of. And you need to give the tool the set of words that are correct answers in that blank. or maybe they make a typing error or something. So, and then it would come up as wrong just because you haven't included it in the choice of words that will be accepted as correct. So with the fill in blanks, it's interesting, but you have to be very careful in setting it up. Find multiple hotspots. That is similar to the other tool which I told you about earlier, where you set up hotspots and add text. This could be used, for example, if you have a training on waste management, for example, or hygiene in a facility, then they can click on what is good practices, what is bad practices. Same with the simple hotspot where there's just one thing that they have to pick out from such an image. Then you have quiz tools. There is multiple choice. There's quizzes where you have a set of questions. You have single choice. So there's one question they have to choose which is the right and which is the wrong answer. Sort the paragraphs. So you would write different paragraphs of text which are in jumbled order, and they have to put them in the right order to make sense of the text. And then you have true and false questions. So where you say a cat is a mammal, and they have to click true or false to get the right answer. And in these tools, you usually then get feedback of this is right, this is wrong, and so on. So these are quiz tools that you can use to just engage with the student, give a short feedback on what they have, what knowledge they've retained, and to just make it a little bit more entertaining. One word of warning here: if you make these too difficult, it's very frustrating. If they can't pass and they can't move on because they're stuck with one of these, and they're overthinking of what you meant with this question and which could be the right answer, then this can become a big negative factor, and it can be very frustrating, especially with multiple choice questions. Let's say you have one question and then there's 10 answers and several answers are possible. The student does not know, is it 2 right answers? Is it 4 correct answers? Is it 10 correct answers? So they might go through this 100 times before they have found all the right answers. And you have to be very careful also in the way you ask your questions and you word your answers, because people might understand it incorrectly, or you have just written it in a very strange way because you want it to be a bit funny or make it a bit more difficult. It can be very easily frustrating. So big warning if you want to use one of these tools. And then we have the very interactive tools. So the structure strip is a tool where you set a topic, and then you can give a hint, so a bit more input. And then the student has a box where they can write their own notes, their own thoughts, their own answers to the question based also on the input that you've given. And you can do this with several topics that you want them to reflect on. So this is a very good way to guide them through a writing process. If they have to think through some stuff where they have to consider different questions, and you want to give them some guidance on how to order their thinking, and they can write it down in this format. Then the game map is beautiful, but also needs a lot of planning. I will show you an example a little later. The game map gives different tasks, and they can be any of the ones that I've told you about. You can use basically the full set of different tools in the game map and connect them. So the student goes from one task to the next, to the next, to the next, to do an actual journey like in a game. It is like actually playing a game, and they have to survive one point to get to the next. There can be branching points. So this is the most game-like, most interactive way of presenting your lesson, but it requires excellent planning. And then you have two more, which I haven't used much, but which are also tools for the students to keep their notes and to get into writing. So there's the documentation tool where you set, like it's more like a template that you give them. And then there's the note keeping tool where they have 3 boxes. So once they just keep notes during a meeting, then they think about it, and then at the end they give feedback of what was now the most important learning from this session. So these are the different tools. Now I would like you, let me just end this. I would like you to open your LUMI. I will do the same. Let me share again. So if you open your LUMI, does it look like this? Yes? All right. Okay. On the top bar here, next to LUMI, you have File. There you can say New or Open or Save As or Export. Okay. These are very important commands that we will need later. For now, we would like to set up a new one. I want all of you to do the same. Just do New, and then you have 2 options here. The first one is Edit. The second one is View. Let me close this one. Which one are you seeing, actually? Are you seeing this one? Okay. You see my LUMI? Okay,
Yes.
good. Great. So let's order this A to Z so it's easier to understand what we're doing here. Let me open this a little bit, make it a bit bigger. So now here you, oops. What happened here? Oh, okay. You see my LUMI again?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just trying to make it a little bit bigger. So here we go. So here you see now the different ones that I just explained to you. And if you're very new, you can always click on details. Let's, for example, go to accordion. Then it gives you a little bit of an explanation what it is. And you can always go to content demo to see actually what it looks like. So here you would see, like, what? Do we have no video here for this? Okay, here we have. So here now you could look at different ones. So this is now an accordion. You have the headlines, yeah? Learn about the Netherlands and then different factors of the Netherlands. And if you click on it, then you have text underneath. This is how an accordion works. So it's basically simple text, but you can close it up so you don't have 100-line text that the student is confronted with in one go. So it makes it a little bit more easy to digest. Let's go back. But that is still very simple, just reading, just writing, nothing exciting here. If you go, for example, to dialogue cards, this is what it looks like. If you want to see a demo, so here we have a dog goes bark. So these are like for very simple ones. You can include an audio, you can include a picture, and you have the answer on the back. So this is very, very simple, not very sophisticated. It's mainly used in preschools, but it is for some topic it might be interesting. Now let me show you, for example,
the scenarios, perhaps.
Which scenarios?
Scenarios. Scenario activity.
Oh, the scenario. Okay, you want to see that? That is, where was it? Where is it now?
I think it's somewhere under B.
Branching scenario, yeah.
Yeah.
Under B? Branching scenario.
Yeah.
Okay.
Branching scenario.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay. So here you have so this is, for example, for a nurse or a who needs to make a home visit. All right. So here you have then your button, start the game. Then you have an introduction. All right. Then you have proceed. Okay. Now you have, for example, here you have a folder where you can read about the client that you're going to see. So you have background information that you can include here. Okay. Then you proceed. Here you have all the information that's in the file of this client. So it's really well set up. It looks really cool. It looks like a real file that you would have when you are a practitioner. Now you're doing your drive to the client. You see, now they have included a video. Yeah, so you can include videos in these. Proceed. Now you have your first branching scenario. How do you introduce yourself? Do you do this? Do you do that? Do you do this? Do you do that?
Hi, I'm Ann Jones, a community nurse. I'm here for the appointment we arranged yesterday.
All right. Where do you choose to sit? So now you have like all these branching questions. What do you do? Do you do this? Do you do that? Do you do that? Ask where to sit.
Where would you like me to sit?
We could sit here on the couch or at the table here.
Not the best response. So now they have the learner has made two choices, yeah, and it was followed up with a short video, and now the learner gets feedback. Okay, this decision tree that you chose is maybe not the best because then you have the reason. Okay, so now you can start over. Maybe I make another decision. What happens if I do this?
I'm okay to stand since I've been sitting all day. So tell me, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling like maybe you should sit down. You can sit here or there.
Sure.
Okay, again, so we get feedback again that this was not the right decision. So, but as you see, so this is beautiful. That gives you a lot of really real life impressions, but you need to film maybe all of these little sessions, or you need to write scenarios. Or record audio. So it really, really is very demanding to set up. You have to have the script in mind with all the different branches, different scenarios, different feedbacks, and then you have to produce the videos or the images or whatever it is that you need. If anybody is willing to go down this route, it's beautiful. It's very, very beautiful, but it's demanding. Okay. I want to show you how it's done, and then I also want to let you do something because it also needs some kind of getting into the thinking of how H5P works. So let me just show you, for example, one that I've already created. Let me see what we have here. So, for example, if I now do, no, I didn't want to show you that one. Here. For example, this is a map that I just quickly started preparing yesterday, because here I can show you both how it looks and how it works. So if I want, now I'm on view mode or an edit view. In LUMI, you always have those two modes. In edit, you can make changes or you can set it up. And in view, you can see what it looks like. You can control if what you set up works or make changes if it doesn't work. So now here, if I go to edit, this is how it looks when I work with it. So wherever there is a red star, that is necessary to fill. So here I have to give it a title. And now I can decide if I want to have a title screen or not. So I can unclick this, then that wouldn't have a title picture. But I prefer to have a title picture because then the student sees like a book cover that they can click on. So here I can add some text, some introduction, and I can also add an image or a video. So in this case, I've chosen a video. This is also, if I choose image, I have to upload something here. So this is the image I uploaded here. And then you have to click decorative only, or you have to enter a description of the picture. That is for people who are blind and don't see the picture. If they hover it, they would then hear your text. They would then be able to understand what that picture is about. But that is a lot of work. So I usually go for the shortcut and just click decorative only. So now I need to set, so this is just the cover page. Then I need to set up my map. So on the map, again, I need to upload a background picture, which will be the picture of my map. It could be an actual map. It could be a treasure hunt map, whatever. I chose a picture that shows the way from the client or to production and retail and so on, because I wanted to do it about business case. So I uploaded this picture, and then there's a lot of other settings that I can or may not do. So these, as you can see, they don't have the red star, so I can just ignore them, or I can actually go and become really wild and creative. So I can say,
Anja,
yes,
excuse me.
yes.
We are not seeing the red stars and something. We are just
Okay.
seeing
What do you
first
see? You still
the
see
list of this. The
Oh.
lists, yes, the list of documentation tool and
that
something
is
like
not
that.
good. Wait,
Yeah.
wait. Let me change that. Let me change that.
I thought it was just me, because when you were talking about the Netherlands earlier, I thought, what?
You did not see that either.
No,
Oh,
I just thought I was being stupid.
No. I thought you see what I'm seeing, but obviously not. Let me change that. How can I change that? Share. Here.
Now it's good.
Now you see.
The background image, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow. So you missed all of what I was just saying. Guys, why didn't you shout out earlier? Okay. So again, once you open a LUMI, you have the edit view and your edit mode, and you have the view mode. In the edit mode is where you set it up. So here is the red star. That has to happen, like the title. Show title screen, don't show, you can click this on, but I want a title screen. I have an introduction here for my students, and I've uploaded, and here I can choose image or video that will be on the title. I've chosen an image and I've uploaded the image. And then here I have clicked decorative only, so because I don't want to enter a lot of text about this. So then I needed to choose a background image for my map. That is the picture, the image that I uploaded for the background of my map. Then here's more settings. They don't have a red star. So you don't have to do anything. I did some. So for example, for certain events, I uploaded certain sound bits that if they click on that, this is the sound they will hear. But this is like, you can play around with that, whatever you like. Now, the real thing now starts by setting up the map. So here's my image. Now what I need to do is I need to set stages. So these dots I have to drop somewhere in my map. Okay, and I say, okay, here maybe. This is a stage. Now I need to name this stage, and I name this primary producer. And in this case, the student can start here. It depends on what you want. I'm not setting a time limit. I can set access restrictions. If, for example, the student has already stage progress done, add more detail. So this is the different stages. If I want to do this, well, now I can say what I want to have in this point. So if the student clicks on this point, I can now set all of these different options that we have in h5p. So I can say here, I want the student to do dialogue cards. All right. And that I say this. What is a primary producer? Turn over the cards to see different aspects of a primary producer. I'm just making this up here now. So, and then you have those dialogue cards. So you have a front page and you have a back page of your dialogue card. So on the front page, you now want to say like, is a primary producer a partner, a key partner? And then you can write your answer that will then be shown on the back of the card. Yes, the primary producer might be your most important key partner if you trade. So, and then I can add an image, whatever image I want there. Let me see if I have one here that works. Doesn't really matter. So I can just upload any here for the purpose of now. I can add audio files if I want. I can add more dialogue cards. So this would be now just one card. If I wanted to set up the second card, I would click here and I would set up a second card. Okay, I don't want to do this now. Right, once I've set this up, I go on done. Now I want to see what it looks like. Now I would go to the view side. And now this is the front page that I've set up with this image, with the headline, and now the student can start. And as you can see, I have now here different points that develop. Oh, the other one is not yet connected. I need to connect it. So here I can see that I haven't made the connection to the last point that I just made. But here I have points that I set up yesterday. So the student can click on this, and the student sees a certain activity that I added to this point. Once they've done that one, they can click to the next one. So here we have an essay one. So then it opens. So then we have the next one, partners. This stage requires you meet the goals before, so they have to progress first to the other ones. So I would have to first finish these two before I can do this one. Now, what I just did was The new update of this is really nasty. Okay, let me see. Where did I have one? So primary producer, and I wanted to connect it to this one. Let me see. So I'm just doing some random stuff here to show you how it works. So now you see I have connected the other dots that I've set up. Okay, so you always have to first choose a dot on the image. You have to give it a name. Then you have to choose which other dots it connects to, and it can connect to one or it can connect to several. And then the student can follow these dots to finish the journey. All right, and I can keep moving these around. Yeah, so I can use it here, and then I can also make changes to it. If I want to change it, I can go back and make my changes here, and I always have to save it again. So if I click on it, I can see I can change the space, the place, or I can edit it, or if I don't like it anymore, I can also remove it. So this is how this works, but it also needs a lot of preparation. You need to have your idea of what you want to set. So you have to have a good idea of what you want to do with this map, which kind of activities you want to introduce, but then it can be very, very engaging and fun. So, but as you see with h5p, you always have to give it a lot of information for the setup. And that's what I want you to try now. Use your LUMI. Let me stop sharing here. You have, use your LUMI and open the interactive video.
To go to details?
So you go to new, then you have the list of different options. And there you choose the interactive video, go to details, and then use. At the bottom right now there is this sign, this little button, use. Yeah. And then it should, let me see. It should look like this. Do you all have that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So now you can use, if you have a short video of your own that you would like to use, you can upload it here, or you can use the video that I sent yesterday that Yitna also shared on WhatsApp. You can just click on this and then upload a file, and then you choose it from wherever it is. Oh, let me just choose it from here. You've done that? Let me know once you all have uploaded your video. Can I have a thumbs up once you're done? That I know that I can continue. Or if you have trouble, let me know. Matt is good. Marko, do you have your video in place?
I'm
Okay.
very lost.
All right. So,
You have it.
okay,
Well,
cool. Good. So
No,
as you
I'll have
can
to get
see,
in a minute.
all right. So
Can we
as you
start
can
on the
see,
other room?
You can see immediately show me.
okay. As you can see, there's no red stars here, so we can ignore all of this for now. Okay.
What about the title, Anja?
Yes, your title you have to give it. Give it a title. So in this case, it would be business canvas or something like this. Whatever you want. Okay. Once you've done that, you now go to the second step, which is add interactions. All right. So now what you need to do is you should watch the video first and then take note of the time. At the bottom down here, you have the times stamp. And write down the minute, double dot, second, timestamp of where you want to now put interjections. All right, where you feel like, okay, here I want to put a quiz or a question or a revision or whatever, so that you have those timestamps for now. So just each of you go through this video, watch these 2 minutes, and then maybe think of, okay, where do I want to put my interjections? All of you do that for now. Give me a thumbs up once you're done. Okay. How about the others? Maybe you all unmute yourself so we can talk. Ambus is ready. Okay. So what you now do next is if you scroll up, you see all these different options that you have to add into your video. Okay. So what you can now do first is you can use a bookmark to mark the points that where you want to set your interjections. All right. You have written down the timestamp. Now you actually use this bookmark and set it like, let's say you want an interjection here at 44. So I can now make a bookmark, add a bookmark and then I can give it a name. All right. So I can say here I want a revision. And then maybe here I want a add a bookmark again. Here I want to have a quiz. Okay. Then maybe here I want another one. And I say, here I want a branch, whatever. So that helps me remember where my interjections are supposed to be. Now I can choose from the ones that I have on top here. So I can add text, I can add table, I can add a link to another video or whatever. I can add images, statements, single choice set, multiple choice set, true, false questions, fill in the blanks, drag and drop. So all the tools that we saw earlier, we can all include them into this interactive video at these points. Mark the words, drag the words, crossroads. Crossroads is like in the scenario where they have to make a decision, right, wrong, what do I do? And navigation hotspots. There's 2 more here. Anyway, so I can now decide what I want to do. Let's say I want to add an interaction here. Here I want to have a true-false question. So I choose this one. And now I can decide, do I want to have it as a button? Then it will just be a little icon in the video. The student has to click on it. Or do I want to have a poster? That means it pops up as a big frame where the question is already visible. So in this case, I want to have the poster. I need to give it a title, and I say true or false, just for the sake of this here. And now I put the question. And here I say the business canvas contains 9 sections. True or false? And now I can choose, is the student allowed to do the retry button or not? Show solution button or not? I can tick or untick them as I like. I can say show confirmation dialog on check. So then I have to write a feedback, or show a confirmation dialog on retry. Then I have to write something that pops up once they do the retry. So I have to now give them some feedback there if I click those. Automatically check answer I do for this one because it's simple. Feedback on correct answer is well done. Feedback on wrong answer is try again. So done. Okay. Now you can see this is the pop-up window that the student sees at this point, and it doesn't really show everything, so I have to make it a little bit bigger. So I just click on this and drag it a little bit bigger. Let's see, maybe like this. Okay, let's see what it now looks like. If I now go to view, here's my video. Let's move forward a little bit so we come closer to this part.
This is what we call the business model canvas. A tool that helps you map, discuss.
Now there's the pop-up question. Yeah, so the video here stops, the question comes up, and now the student has to say true, and then it says well done. Okay, and then the student can continue.
Design.
If the student, let's go back.
This is what we call the business model canvas. A tool that helps you map, discuss.
If it clicks on false, like they give the wrong answer, oh no, I can't. So if it happened to click on false, then this would be red and would be 0 out of 10, and it would say try again, and then there would be the retry button instead. Yeah, so this is what it looks like. I want you now to go ahead, go to edit, go to the points in the video where you want to add one of these interactions and just try it out. Just choose one, see what it looks like, see if you get stuck somewhere, and then you can always shout out and share with me your screen and I can try to help you. But I just want you to just interact and try it.
And Anja, just one question.
Yes.
So in order to have this activity with our students, we all need to use LUMI.
So LUMI is a free software to create h5p. Yeah. There is different softwares which you can create h5p. On Moodle, there is h5p already integrated. You can already do h5ps on Moodle. Yeah.
All right. So basically, if we create this activity in LUMI,
yes,
we can export it to the Moodle.
Yes.
And they can do the same
export it to-
activity in the Moodle.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So we can, if we use Moodle, we can already create it in Moodle directly. So we wouldn't have to use LUMI. We could go into the Moodle and use h5p in Moodle. But with LUMI, you can do it on your laptop and then import it into the training platform at any point. And we can also use iframe to set it up in our AgriMox platform later. Yeah. So it gives us more freedom if we create them like this. You would have your set of sessions, and then we can put them into the training platform later and say, okay, this should go up, this should go down in this order. We put banners in between that give us headlines and so on. That's a later stage. Yeah. So just try and see how far you get. Shout if you have problems and share your screen, then I can help you. How is it going? Is everybody doing okay? I can't see, except for Marko, I can't see anybody. So let me know how you're doing. Damian is doing fine, great. You can always change to the view mode to see what it looks like, what you've done, to just check if it works. Has everybody been able to set up at least one interjection? Marco says yes. How about the others? Damian says yes. Damian, do you want to share your video? Let us see what you've done. Yetna, Teruso, Anbes, how is it going on your side?
Great from my side, Anja.
You good?
Yeah, I'm trying to add the second question.
Okay, all right. Matt, how are you doing?
You're also trying, Anya. I'm trying. I'm reach up some of the download is okay, but it says, yeah, we're trying.
Okay, so you have problems with the internet speed or what?
Should I download all the details over there?
What do you mean all the details?
There is, I mean, as a LUMI needs to download all files. There is a file over there attached to different components.
You only need to download the LUMI and
I
then the
did.
movie and then input the movie
I,
in.
I did that.
Yeah.
Let me share, I think, if you want to.
Yeah, share your screen. Let me see what you're talking about. Okay. You don't need to use that now. If you go to, yeah, okay, you have the old version. Okay, good. Now you choose go down to interactive video. You don't need to get them now. You can get them later at any point. You don't need to download them all. If you click on A to Z, then you see that you don't need that for now. So you're busy installing all of them. Okay. It's also right. Click on A to Z on top. Yeah, good. Now click down, scroll down to interactive video. Down. Where is this? Hey, I think you need to. Why don't you have interactive video? Wait, stop. Yeah, maybe type interactive to search, or maybe you need to update, download an update so you have more options. In the search, click right there, interactive.
Yeah, there.
Yeah. No. Interactive.
No.
Interactive.
Hi, Anja. I have nothing in the interactive video. Me also.
You also don't have it. That
Yes.
that probably means you need to.
I checked the update, but this is the final software.
Weird. That's very weird.
Yeah.
I think I might know why.
Okay, give us your.
When I first downloaded it, I had that one too.
I see something now.
Okay.
Yes, I think I see that I can add a video, add interaction, summary task, right?
There should be.
Yeah,
You see also this view that you have here.
Yes,
No, I was saying, sorry. Let me tell you.
Interactive
When I
video.
first downloaded, I had their version, and some of the things you were talking about wasn't working. So they downloaded not the version they're supposed to have.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I also think because this is also the old version view.
Yeah, and I got this from Microsoft Store. But the other one I got it on the website.
Okay. The link that I shared, didn't that take you directly to the newest version?
No, it
Anja,
has a lot of versions on there. So like the instructions wasn't specific as to which one you should download. So I had to go through to find the version that you're using, you know?
Because I think the version that I shared on the
I
platform.
wanna just share my screen. Do you know? Do you see what I have?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the right one. That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. So now you type a title.
Yes.
Yes. Just give it a title. Yeah. And then you go down where there is the little box with the plus. Add video. No, up there. There. No. There.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Click on that. Click on that again. And then now you choose the video.
Yes, I have. I think I downloaded the video yesterday. Let me check. Yeah, let me go to download the video.
Yeah, okay. And Anbis, for you, I think you need to update your version.
Yeah, I will do that. Is it only update or shall I follow your link when you shared us?
I think if you follow the link, that would be the easiest, but you can also try to go on the settings button or on the help button and see if there's an link to an update.
You see my screen? I upload one video.
Yes, correct. Good, great. Okay, now you can go to the next step, add interactions. Yes. Okay. So now you choose the places where you want to interrupt the video. So you can choose it at here. If you start, you watch the video, and then where you want to add an interjection, you can set a bookmark first. And then you can choose from all of these actions which ones you want to put there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's different ones. So like if you have a questionnaire, free question, these are also all options.
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay.
Just choose one random point in the video for now, and then add one of these interactions and see if you can do it. If you can go through this. So then you get a feel for how H5p works. So there you can choose a button or a poster pop up.
Let me check. It is possible to go back? Maybe yes. Yeah, my video is here. Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Now you see, now you've put the interacting with a button. The student will have to click on that button and then see what you want to do. Now click on that.
This one?
Yeah. And then you can see, you can change the size, the spot, or you can, if you go on that, now you can edit it. Yeah, now you can make changes there. Go click on the pen. Yeah, now you can say what the, which of the statements, because now you said like they have to choose the correct statement. So now you have to write the statements underneath, which will be displayed on the screen.
Yeah, I understand. The text file is required and must have a value. Okay. Statement. Yes, I understand now. Okay.
You can just write anything random there. It doesn't have to be anything sensible.
Yeah,
so you see how it looks.
In the statement?
You just write anything, like a car is blue, some whatever, it doesn't matter for now. Just so you see how it looks. You can add more statements if you want to.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But what you have there now is there you can set like if the student passes or fails at a certain percentage range. But you don't have to set that. It's optional.
Yeah. I tried that one. It's quite nice. Say something.
Say something who?
Anja,
Yes.
is it possible just to reset the point of the interaction once we set up?
Yes.
If you want to just move back or forward, is it possible to do that?
Yes, and in most cases you can so you want to change the timestamps, the place where it occurs.
Yeah.
Let me just open one for you.
May I share my?
Yeah, okay. But it's sometimes easier if I share mine. Let me just
Okay.
open. Let me see. Here we have to share. Is it? What? That's not good. Stop sharing. Let me open it. What? see if I have one here. Okay. Okay, I'll make a new one. Okay, maybe you share what yours. Mine doesn't open. Then I would have to start over again. You just share yours, Yedna, then we'll see if I can guide you through. Okay, so what you can now do, Yedna, is click on that. Either you click on that little dot there, where it is.
Which one?
At
This
the
one?
bottom. Yeah, so you can use, no, not that one. Go to the very bottom where the play line is.
Here?
Yes, so on the where this is the dot that you see there, that little dot is where you've
This one?
right?
Yeah.
Yes. Now try to drag it.
Okay, by dragging this one simply. Can it?
Does it
I
work?
think it's not. Yeah, it doesn't work. I've tried to do it on.
Okay, then what
it's
you can do
gonna be-
is, if that doesn't work, then start video at here, behavioral settings. Okay, now, no, go back to the dot.
Which one? This one?
Yeah, click on it.
Okay.
Click on it. So now you go click on the box that opened.
Okay.
Yes, and now you go to
Yes.
the pen. Okay, let's
It
see.
takes to back to the
Yes,
editing of the text, I think.
yes. Let's see if they go to behavioral settings.
Behavioral setting here.
See if we have a timestamp there. No.
You have here? No, you don't have here.
Because
Maybe
sometimes it
on
asks you where this is supposed to be. Go up. Here, that you see.
here, this one.
Yes.
Yeah. Now we
Then
can
you
actually
change
see.
it
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
timestamps where you want it. And you can also say it, you can also make it shorter or longer if you want it to be displayed for longer or shorter. So you can also change the second time.
I think this one.
Yeah, you can also make changes there. If you want
But
it.
Anja, it says it's at display time.
Yes. So it starts now at the first number, the first timestamp is where it pops up.
Okay.
So
And
you
it
want
lasts
and then this is how long it will pop up until then. So if you want it to pop up from 50 to 55, then you change this one to 55. 0.55. 0 and then 55. Yes. So now they would be displayed for 5 seconds from the point 50. See, it now has moved. That's why it's helpful to set to check the video first and write down your timestamps where you want to have your interjections and to set those bookmarks. Then it's easier to make sure you get it at the right place. Perfect. Great.
Yeah, it works. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Anja. I think the other very important question is how can we prepare the video, the ones that you shared to us? Can we prepare such kind of video with this software?
So with this software, you cannot make videos. For that one, you would need a video making software. So like in Hawassa, you have a recording studio. So you could record your own lecture. Yeah. and then put the interjections with the questions into that lecture video. Or you use a video that is already like, you can download from somewhere. There's also another software where you can make animated videos, but that is a paid software. That's a little bit tricky. But there's, like, if you have a script and you know what you want to happen in a certain video, we can always see if we can make it happen. Or you have, like, if you have video footage, maybe you have filmed something with your phone, you have a script for a voiceover that you want to happen, you can always send it to me and I turn it into a video with some software that I already have.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
There is, let me see if I can quickly find it. Here. If you have a video that is on YouTube or somewhere that you would like to use, you can always send me the link and I can try to download it, because you have to have a premium account to be able to download YouTube videos. Because there's a lot of interesting content maybe already out there. I can't find it right now. Okay, guys, what I would suggest is you keep playing around. Also, maybe try out the other tools which are there, to just get a feel for it. If you have questions, you can always shoot me an email, or you can put it on the Exchange platform as a question to the whole group, and then we can see how it goes. What do you think? Is everybody okay with that? Or do you have some really urgent questions right now? True, so this is the studio we have. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, then I will just leave you with your LUMI. Maybe just use the weekend to play around a little bit to get a feel for it. If there's any questions, there's also always the option to read more, to watch the demos, or to just Google how to use h5p, whatever drag and drop tool, and to get some information from h5p directly. Yeah, you're welcome, Damian. Okay, guys, then I leave you to it. I hope that was helpful, and I hope that also gave you an idea of how we can create training modules which are engaging and interactive and really cool. Yep.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Anja. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye bye, Anja. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
my
you.
pleasure.
Thank you, Anja.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.